Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Sack here. Yesterday, several people asked me if I heard the story of Craigory Burch, the Georgia lottery winner who won at the end of last year, 2015, and was recently found murdered in his home. In the history of the lottery, there are a lot of news stories of winners dying soon after winning from murder, from suicide, from illness. What I think's going on here, Truth Seeker, like I said in my last lottery video, is I think that the people we see go before us on the TV with the big checks are oftentimes actors playing a part, helping solidify the lie that there are lottery winners. I know some people win pots that are $50,000, $100,000, maybe even an amount like this, 434,000. But anytime it gets in the millions, I'm pretty sure those people you see on TV are actors. And to make my point, just look at the name Craigory Burch. Who's ever met a Craigory before? Also, notice the date on that check, November 30th. 11/3 is a lot like 113, the number of dishonesty. Mainstream equals 113. Dishonest equals 113. The date of his check has a numerology of 76, just like the gematria of Craigory Burch equals 76. This story comes out of Georgia. Georgia, one of a few states with a gematria of 44. 44 is the kill number. The word kill equals 44. Lottery also has gematria of 34, just like the word murder has gematria of 34, just like the word suicide has gematria of 34. Lots of interesting things coded into his name. Most interesting of all is the fact that Craigory equals 96, just like the word Freemason. Combination of Craig and Greg. Craigory. So in light of his death, I went through this article. This article was called The Top 10 Lotto Winner Deaths. And this one right here was number 1. Aruj Khan. Look at this story, Truth Seeker. Aruj Khan was 46 years old, and after winning the lottery, he suddenly dropped dead the day after winning. I mean, imagine it. A 46-year-old in Chicago wins the lottery and drops dead the next day. What's comical about 46 is Chicago has a gematria of 46. I've been doing a lot of videos recently on Super Bowl 50 and how it's the 46th Super Bowl of the modern era, which began with Super Bowl 5, and how there's all this major Chicago theming in it. The Broncos, or excuse me, Peyton Manning, who plays on the Broncos, has only won one Super Bowl. He won that Super Bowl 29-17 over the Chicago Bears, a sum of 46 points. The Patriots, who are in the Super Bowl, played in the Super Bowl held in January 86 against the Bears and lost 46-10 to the Bears, who had the revolutionary 4-6 defense that year. The Arizona Cardinals are in the playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals are originally from Chicago. And also, the Carolina Panthers are left in the playoffs. These are the final 4 teams. Ron Rivera is the coach of that team. Ron Rivera was a member of that 85 Bears team that played in the Super Bowl against the Patriots that went 15-1 that year. He now coaches the Panthers that went 15-1 this year. No coincidence. We live in a world scripted by Freemasons, scripted by the numbers. The name Aruj Khan has gematria of 113. Mega Millions, one of the major lotteries in the USA, has gematria of 311. We just talked about 113 in yesterday's death story of the lottery winner as well, winning on November 30th. Aruj Khan the small way equals 41. Powerball equals 41. The major lotteries in this nation are Mega Millions and Powerball, numbers that sync up with his name. The second story from the top 10 deaths list is the death of Abraham Shakespeare. How ridiculous does that name sound, Truth Seeker? Abraham Shakespeare. Abraham, a name with 44 gematria, the kill number. Abraham Lee Shakespeare has gematria of 84. United States of America equals 84. Think about the book 1984 that has this to say about the lottery. If you've never read the book 1984, it was written after World War II. It's about a futuristic nation a lot like ours. The lottery, with its weekly payouts of enormous prizes, was the one public event to which the proles paid serious attention. It was probable that there were some millions of proles for whom the lottery was the principal, if not the only reason for remaining alive. It was their delight, their folly, their anodyne, their intellectual stimulant. Where the lottery was concerned, even people who could barely read and write seemed capable of intricate calculations and staggering feats of memory. There was a whole tribe of men who made their living simply by selling systems, forecasts, and lucky amulets. Winston had nothing to do with the lottery, which was managed by the Ministry of Plenty, but he was aware, indeed, everyone in the party was aware, that the prizes were largely imaginary, meaning the majority of them were made up, just as I think they are in our nation. Only small sums were actually paid out, the winners of the big prizes being non-existent persons, like Abraham Shakespeare. And that's why they're able to have all these death stories too, because they're just killing off the fake character that never existed in the first place. Here's another story, Amanda Clayton, who won it on September 11th, 2011. She won 1 million. The name Amanda Clayton's interesting in gematria. You can see what I have written on the screen. Notice that Amanda has gematria of 34, like murder, like lottery. Also, Amanda equals 16 and Clayton equals 90. The only two words, or the only two numbers when written out as words that have gematria of 33 are 16 and 90. So I find it interesting that that's coded into her name. That's a number of Freemason obsession. In the book we just read, the excerpt from 1984, the main character is Winston, a name with 33 gematria, another number that shows up often in the hoaxes. She won it in Michigan. Michigan and Sacrifice have gematria in common. And notice how 1 million and death have something in common as well. The next story is of Ryan McKechnie. Ryan McKechnie, interesting name. Notice that McKechnie is a name with 44 gematria, the kill number. The big way, McKechnie's 71. When you write out 44 and when you write out 71, when you write out those numbers, they both sum to 144. All of these numbers are connected to death and assassination. Doris Murray, another story from this top 10 list. She also died after winning the Georgia lottery. The story is that this man right here, her boyfriend, killed her. And I mean, just look at this picture. Doesn't it look like a psychological operation? This guy has this mischievous look, looking away. Look how they won on 4-4, April 4th, in Georgia, one of few states with a 44 gematria. Doris Murray, 71 again, just like the last guy. Also 62, which is interesting because the word Mason 62, Georgia the big way is also 62. Notice that Doris is a name with 38 gematria, like the word death. Murray 33. Murray the big way 96, like Freemason. Just like Craigory. Georgia, 44. She wins the check on 4-4. Look how 71, 44, and April 4th all sum to 144. And her initials are DM. M's the 13th letter. 13, 1 plus 3 becomes 4. So DM for Doris Murray, another 44. See how they do this? The next story in that list is Jeffrey Dampier, who supposedly won the lottery on July 11th in the year 96. Supposedly, he was killed by his girlfriend. You know? And his girlfriend was his sister-in-law. So it's a scandalous story. He ends up dead. I noticed Jeffrey and Dampier, both names with 39 gematria. Another very important number to the Masons and Zionists. The date he won it on, a date with 34 numerology, like lottery, like murder. His name also syncs up with Illinois lottery, which he won. Another contrived story. The next one on the list is the winner Keith Go, who supposedly won it overseas. I'll just let the gematria do the talking here. Look at his name, Truth Seeker. 666 404. 0 doesn't count in numerology. A lot like 44. Characters who win and then are killed off. The fake characters killed off in the media, that is. This is the story of David Edwards, who supposedly won $12 million, blew it all, and ended up living homeless on the street before dying. Edwards, a name with 38 gematria like death, also 74 like Masonic. Then they have Billy Bob Harrell. This is the image they give of him. Billy Bob Harrell has gematria of 79 like murder. His story is that he committed suicide not long after winning the lottery. Harrell, also a name with 74 gematria like Masonic. Again, suicide, murder, and lottery all have the same gematria, 34. And then the final story is of Gerald Muswagon. Gerald Muswagon, the Canadian winner with the big grin. Another person who committed suicide after winning. Notice that Muswagon's a name with 113 gematria like mainstream, like dishonest. The reflection of 311 for Mega Millions. You see how they do this, Truth Seeker? I'm going to come back with one more detail. I want to show you how the recent lottery winners that went on TV are also set up for a future death story, which we might read about in the days to come. Okay, so you might have heard this story. The bizarre behaving Powerball winners who went on the news before even claiming their winning ticket. The pear-shaped family. These people are actors made for TV. They supposedly won it in Mumford, Tennessee. Notice Mumford has that gematria of 71 that connects to 144, a number connected to death. Notice that Tennessee, the small way, also sums to 34, like lottery. Notice this gematria of 106 for Tennessee. That's the number of prophecy. The family's name is Robinson, and Robinson also has gematria of 106 like Tennessee. No coincidence. Out of the family members, the one we might read about dying is Tiffany Robinson, who has gematria of 79 like murder. And the big way, Tiffany Robinson equals 187. That's the homicide code in California, 187. So she has numbers of death already coded onto her, plus they're from Tennessee, which corresponds with lottery, suicide, murder. The reason they go on TV and claim they won it before claiming it in real life is because it's a hoax. In my video that I did the day of the Powerball announcement, I said no matter if the winners are announced or not, nobody's really going to win because it's all a big contrived hoax to steal people's wealth. That's why they call the lottery the idiot tax. The lawyer that they went to the show with today in New York, the lawyer they took with him was named Joe Townsend, gematria of 144, another number connected to killing. So all the coding's here in the story for the future story to come. You know, I'll link this blog post. You can read all this. But what you really want to learn is this language of gematria. It'll let you see through the hoaxes in no time. Until next time, Truth Seeker.